welcome back to the Baller Diaries. This episode is just going to be a light and hopefully funny one. This is entitled Siobhan and Ella's Greatest Hits.
Yeah, so we're just going to go through some funny moments that happened to us, whether it was in AAU, traveling, training sessions, college, in games, whatever it is. And we decided to make a disclaimer because we have already been tearing up laughing before this episode has started. So as we're telling these stories, we're probably going to be dying laughing. And if you don't find us funny, just turn the episode off because the jokes are not going to get any better. We have a very specific sense of humor and it is what it is.
Yeah, this is also just to make sure that, if you do anything embarrassing in basketball, it's okay.
In life.
It's okay because we all have our moments. Some of us just have
more than others. And we've had some very serious episodes the past few, so we just wanted to tap into our personalities because this is how it is 99% of the time off the camera. And this is the reason that we started the podcast in the first place was when we were in these moments or retelling these stories, we were like, this is so funny, other people need to hear. And I guess we'll find out based on how many viewers we get for this episode.
It'll be us rewatching it. On repeat.
Yeah, okay. So I think we'll start back in our AAU days because Ella and I have been training and traveling together since we were very little. And I'm already laughing before I even tell the story. But Ella and I were travel partners and her mom and my mom would drive together. So it was always the four of us. We had a little girl family. And we're halfway through a very long road trip and Ella is slumped because on 99% of our road trips, she would fall asleep. And then when she'd wake up, it would be a lot of loud talking, and then it would go quiet again because Ella went back to sleep.
Okay, I do that because I get car sick, so I have to sleep or else I get motion sickness.
Sure. Anyways, so Ella's mid-nap. Me and her mom and my mom are sitting there, and all of a sudden, her mom starts being it smells. It smells really, really bad. And then me and my mom are like, yeah, it really smells horrible. And so the smell lingers for 20 minutes because we're wow, we must be in Farmville. When you're on the highway, sometimes you hit a patch like that. But it is a horrible smell. And then all of a sudden, Ella wakes up and she puts her shoes back on. And her mom was like, Ella, are your shoes off right now? And the whole time, and the smell had been Ella's feet because mid-nap she took her shoes off. And so the whole time we're all complaining and searching outside of the car for what horrible smell it could be. It was Ella's socks sitting right next to us in the back of the car. And it might not sound that funny, but in the moment, the way that her mom screamed at her for having her feet out, and it was never take your feet out in front of us again. What is wrong with you?
You really need some water.
She used the full name just because Ella took her slides off.
Ooh, see, I just want to say too, that was a long time ago, guys. My feet don't smell like that anymore.
Happen.
No, because I would
I think we were on the way to the tournament too. I don't think we're on the way back.
That's a lie, Siobhan. She's lying. No. We were coming back from an elite camp, so I had been wearing it was an elite camp, so I had been in those socks all day.
All day.
So you know what? Yeah, would I do that now? No. But, that did happen. That might have happened. So also
we have to do the other one with your mom's luggage.
Oh my god, okay, yeah. So we were driving and, here's the thing, my mom just packs one little duffel and then she puts a whole lot of, I'm an overpacker, so I bring 5 bags. My mom brought one singular duffel, right? And we're driving and my mom was loading up the truck in the back of her mom's car.
Yeah, and my mom gets in the car and was like, okay, Melissa, just close the back when you're done packing up, we're good. And so your mom gets back in the car.
So my mom gets back in the car, she had loaded up all our bags, great. We drive, we're 2 hours away and we get to where a rest stop center. Mom's like, oh, I need to grab a t-shirt from my duffel or something. And she opens it, not there.
No, that's not.
What do you mean? Yes, it was. It was gone.
She had left she left the back of the car open.
No.
And the bags fell out. Oh, yes.
Wait.
let's just start this story over. We had been driving for like 5 or 10 minutes, and all of a sudden my mom is like looking out the rear view, and like she sees a bag fly out of the rear view mirror, and so she's like, "Is that our bag?" So we turn around. It was one of our bags, but we saw it fall out, so we like turned around, we quickly grabbed it, and so then we're like looking through all the bags, and we're like, "Oh wait, her bag wasn't there." So then we redo our steps for like 10-15 minutes. Back to the hotel, the bag's not on the side of the road or anywhere, so we just were like, the bag is gone, but she didn't close the back of the trunk. That's why all the bags had fallen out of the car.
So then my mom, it was literally like a whole weekend trip. This like the beginning of the weekend.
That was the first day.
It was the first day. Now my mom's, all of her clothes are gone. So she was like, well, we went to Target and she had to get like underwear and stuff, and then she was wearing like my AAU hoodies.
Yeah.
Like, she was definitely putting together some fits with like the clothes that she had left.
Funny.
And yeah, so that was, I felt real bad, but we figured out like someone must have stolen, like someone must have snatched it off the road once it fell, because it was just
a
like
nice
this
bag full of free clothes.
yeah, and like her running sneakers, like all this
I remember
stuff
that's
was
what
in
the
there.
big panic was. Yeah.
Yeah. Also there was this tournament in AAU. This was like, this was a while ago, but like this wasn't one with Siobhan, but we were driving, me and my family, and we're like, oh, okay, let's stop at a rest area, like whatever. We were like in a random like state, like we were coming back from a tournament in Indianapolis, and we were just like in like maybe Ohio, I don't even know, like Pennsylvania, something like that, random. And we were like halfway through the drive, so that seems about right. Okay, yeah. So we stop at the rest area. I'm about to use this information.
Yeah, it's not even funny yet.
Okay. Anyway, so we stop at the rest area, and we're like, oh my god, like all these people are like, oh my god, like whispering, and I'm like, who's here? Like, are we the famous? If I people whispering about me, I'm like, oh my god, do they know my 7th grade self? And I was like, did I get scouted at the tournament? Anyways, but obviously it wasn't, and someone was like, and I remember someone like, Kathy from Dance Moms, and I was like, oh my god, Kathy's here? And they're like, yeah. So I was like, okay, we have to go find her. So I see this like group of people, and I follow the group of people because they look like they found her, and I run up to Kathy, and I'm like, oh my god, can I please get a picture with you? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, also her voice exactly like the show. She's like, do you know where the no, it was like, do you know where the bathroom is? Like, exactly like the show, like just like that. And I was like, oh, it's over there. And whenever she takes the picture, it was her and her daughter Viv. Super nice, took the picture, great people. I go back in the car and I look at the picture. I was eating a chocolate cookie before we got to the rest area. And I had a huge piece of chocolate like on my lip and on my face.
Yo.
So Kathy from Dance Moms saw me with my basketball clothes on with a huge piece of chocolate cookie on my face.
Bruh.
So when Siobhan and I would say this was like maybe like I would have been like 15 at the time.
Yeah, it was like early high school.
Yeah, so it was like early high school. I was like 15, and we were joking and training about like whatever. We were just like, oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, like and you were saying something. I was like, oh yeah, sometimes I like lie about my height with guys or something because like I don't want them to realize how tall I am or whatever. And Siobhan was like, yeah, like I get that. And Q, my trainer, goes, Ella, you like guys? I thought you liked girls. And he was like, Ella, you like he literally was like shocked. Like he stopped the like
we were mid dribbling drills on the baseline.
He put the ball down and was like, stop. Ella, you like guys?
I thought you liked girls.
Yeah, like and I was like, what are you talking about? And at the time, I was not out yet. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was
and
like,
I'm over there like, of course Ella likes guys. What are you talking about? It's like, I was like, of course she likes guys.
And I was like, no, what do you, like, yeah, of course I like guys. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I was like, and we laughed about it for hours. So I was like, what do you mean?
You're like,
I
you're
was
so
like, you
stupid.
think-
Of course she's
I
dating a
was like,
boy.
you think I give off, like, gay vibes? Like, what are you talking about? Don't I come out as gay?
Like 6
6
years
months
later.
later. No, it was literally less than that. It was literally like 6 months later.
And then we were like,
Like,
I wasn't in on the joke either. Like, I was like, Q, shut up. Of course you liked boys.
and I was like, obviously I do, but, and then like literally 6 months later, I openly, I came out. And so basically the moral of the story is the first person to ever, like,
Question,
question, find out, like, basically
Anything.
say anything was my trainer, and he doesn't even remember it to this day.
Yeah, and we like
and he denies
yes,
it.
we laugh about it so much, and we were literally like calling him out for it, and he's like, I never said that. I never did that. I like what? Last week we were like dying laughing just over the fact that he called her gay like before she came out. So this is like core memories for us that we cackle about like constantly.
Okay, so when we would drive to away trips, my mom would always play that, like, she only had this like one set of CDs, and she would play it every single away trip. And it was the complete collection of Michael Jackson, like from Jackson 5. Yeah, like from Jackson 5 all the way to like his later stuff. And it was like 10 CDs, and she would get in the car, put the first one in to play it, and like I would literally like, I just remember, because I would sleep all the time in the car, obviously, and I would just gauge how close we were to the destination by how late we were in Michael Jackson's life. And I would just be like,
teen years, okay, we're halfway there.
I remember waking up, and if I heard Billie Jean, not my love, I'm like, oh, we're getting close. We are almost there. Time to go back to sleep. Yeah, literally. So like that was always just something I still flame my mom to this day for, because it's so funny. But yeah. I have the next, that's like all of mine that I have from that. All of the rest of mine are from college.
Yeah, we can get into college because AAU is so funny because you're like young and you're just on your own, like playing hotel tag or like taking long trips. That's where all those stories from. But even in the seriousness of college basketball, trust me, you will get some hilarious stories. So you can start us off with one first.
So the first one is, this was like after our first like travel away game, like obviously you bring certain travel sets and like you wear them for the weekend and stuff. It's like afterwards I had my laundry in and stuff, and then we were about to leave the next day, and I was like, oh shoot, like I gotta wash all my travel suits, like I have to have them ready to go. So I'm doing laundry at like 1 a.m. in my college dorms. I'm like stressed. I'm like, we gotta leave. I have to do all this stuff. So I throw all my travel suits in the dryer. Like I'm like ready. And then the next day, like I take them out. I don't even fold them. The next day I'm like, okay, I gotta put on, we're wearing like our gray suit, whatever. And I put the gray pants on, and they hit like halfway to my ankle. Like literally like in the middle of my shin.
Some floods.
And I was like, ooh, okay. And then I was like, ooh, these are a little tight. And I'm like, they were literally like leggings, like capri leggings. And I'm like, okay, that's, you know, I don't know what happened, like, oh, whatever. And I put on the jacket, and it was like a crop top. Like, it literally looked like a baby clothes. Like, I was like, oh. And so I'm wearing this travel suit. It's so tight. Like, I literally can barely lift my arms. And I got on the bus, and everyone was like, and my coach was like, Ella, did we order you the wrong size? Like, what happened?
I'm like, yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I think it's just, you know, I don't know, maybe I just gained some weight. And literally I shrunk all of my travel suits. But like that was the worst one. Like the rest of them were like pretty like salvageable, like you might not notice, but like the material on that one, I literally showed up to the bus in a baby suit.
That's
like,
so funny.
It was so tight.
Okay, I think I have one. So my freshman year, I had a bat in my room, and so we had to go through like the whole day of like rabies vaccine information, and like my mom got on the...
Also for context, this is me looking at Siobhan's private story with no context at the hospital getting rabies.
Because I vlogged the whole thing. So I guess I'll just start from the beginning. I'm like taking mirror selfies because I just got in a new little shopping haul, and so I'm like mid taking photos, whatever, and then I'm like, okay, I need a snack. So I walk over to my fridge and I like step and something freezes, and I looked at my foot and there's like a bat. I thought it was a mouse at first, so I'm like, oh my gosh. So my roommate is like,
mouse with wings?
Well, it didn't have wings, it was folded.
Oh, okay.
I'll post a photo. So it's like folded up, it's really small. My roommate does not let people on her bed with outside clothes, but her bed was much closer to the bat than mine was. Like mine was far away, I needed to get up close. So I'm frantically texting her like, can you please let me on your bed with my outside clothes? Like, I'll wash your sheets for you. Like, please, I need to get on your bed because I need to get a good angle of this thing. And so I'm like calling my mom, calling the RA, whatever. She let me on her bed. So I have all these photos, whatever. Long story short, we get to the hospital. They're like, you need to get rabies vaccines because the bat could have bit you. Like, you have no idea how long it had been there, because we had been hearing like noises in our like vents. But we thought we just had like mice up there, and it was fine because our vents were closed. We still don't know how it got inside our room, like from the vent, or if it came through the door or the window. Like, I don't know, everything was closed. Whatever. we go through this whole process. It's our only off day. We've been going for like 2 weeks straight. We get an off day. The whole day is spent in the ER, and we were sitting there for hours. Then we finally get taken back, and they're like, "Oh, we found the bat. Like we tested it. It doesn't have rabies. You don't need to get it. Whatever." The hospital ends up charging us each like $1,000. So now we're like, do we sue the school? Like, who's paying this? Not me. Anyways, the whole day was crazy. It was like the week before the A10 tournament. We thought we were gonna get COVID because this was during COVID too. So like everyone is like coughing around us at the hospital. So everything's fine. We're like, okay, yeah, I'm vlogging. It's all my friends are panicking. It's kind of calmed down. The next day, we're having a recruit come on campus. And so I'm looking at the itinerary that my coach had sent me. It was one of my assistant coaches. And she emailed me the itinerary for some reason instead of texting. And in all caps on the bottom of the itinerary is, "Do not tell the recruit we have a bad problem at Richmond." And I was like, "Coach," I literally went up to her. I'm like, "Yo, what? I'm going to tell this girl that I had a bat in my room because that's funny. And she'll come here because it's funny." She was like,
you would go, if they said I had to just get rabies vaccine.
If I told the story the way that I originally did, yeah. No, I'm kidding. But I was like, okay, I won't tell her we have a bad problem. Okay, I promise. But like, it was the funniest thing. Like, it was crazy because there was a real bat in my room. And we walked into class late, and my roommate and I had a class at the same time. We walk in like halfway through class, and we're like dying laughing because we think this is so funny. So we're walking to class, we're like dying laughing. We assumed the teacher had gotten our email that said that we had a bat problem. Yeah. So we walk in, we're like laughing, we're like, like, hey, like, whatever. So then she's like giving us the dirtiest look. So we're like, oh, okay, like we sit down in the back of the room, we're like dead silent. We're like, she doesn't think it's funny that we had a bat in our room. Like, what's wrong with her? So at the end of class, we go up to her, we're like, hey, like, you got our email, right? That like we're gonna be late to class because of the bat. And she was like, no, like, why would you walk into my room late laughing? And we're like, girl, because we had a bat. So she checks her email, and then she started laughing then, but we were like, oh, okay. Next time we won't walk in laughing halfway through class, I guess. But we thought we were like trauma bonded.
Damn. Oh God, we never had any like weird critters, I suppose.
Richmond's clean, PSA. But.
Okay. Also, so this story, I tell like everyone's going to college this because like you just really can't beat it. Like it's the most like the worst case scenario that could happen. Your first college basketball game happened to me, I think. But yeah, my first ever college basketball game, I was like so excited. I was like oh my God, I've been training like, and you're real cocky as a freshman. Something you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get my minutes. It's gonna be great. I was gonna get a bucket. I'm like thinking in my head like, yeah, I'm gonna have a double
cross
this back. Great, like okay, yes, let's go. And then my coach like we're like half of it, and she's like, all right. She looks at me, she's like, Ella, get in there. And I'm like, okay. She's like, are you ready? Like, are you ready? And I'm like, yeah. Are you kidding? Of course I'm ready. So I'm at the table. I'm like, oh, this is about to be so exciting. This is gonna be great. I sub in, and then I'm like guarding someone on the team, whatever, and I get switched onto the point guard who played for my AU program, and she's shifty. Like, she had a great career. Like, she's great, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, okay, but I'm still feeling confident. I'm like, switch, no worries. Let me D up. Whew. Takes one step. Not even, she crosses the ball over. Not even something crazy. One step cross, I fall. Like, not slip, not like fall. Like, I got crossed. I hit the ground. My hand hits the ground. She makes a shot. Everybody on her team is like, oh my God. I'm like, no way that just happened. I'm laying on the ground. I'm looking up like, oh my God. My coach's like, get up. I'm like, oh my God. So I like, get up.
Like the view.
And I finished the play. Immediately I see someone run to the table. And I'm like, I'm getting subbed out. Got subbed out, never went back in the game. That was it. That was my freshman debut. I got crossed.
Played again.
And then I was stressed because I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be on overtime. I am gonna be on overtime. For literally a month, every day I'd wake up and go through every single basketball account that I could find. And I would be texting, I would be talking to my girls like, did anyone find it? Am I tagged? Am I tagged? Am I anywhere? I would be checking everything because I was just waiting for that video to come up. To be
probably
like,
not in overtime, but it was probably in her personal accounts.
Bro, because I would post that shit too. If I literally crossed someone up, it would definitely be somewhere. Yeah. So thank you for never posting that. I love you for that. But that was so funny. I got dropped.
So I never got dropped, but I think it was junior year. My coach was so big on like take charges, take a charge. I have never really taken a charge in my life before. I'll start doing it more next year if my coaches are watching this. But I was like finally ready. I'm gonna take a charge. this big girl, but she was very mobile, so it was a fast break, and I had beaten her down the court, and I'm ready. Like, she's driving on the wing, and I'm sitting on the block, and I'm like, I'm doing it. Like, in my head, I'm like, hyping myself up. I'm like, I got this. Like, I'm about to take a charge. I'm like getting so excited. I'm like, this is happening. Like, I'm ready. Accepting the moment as it comes. So I keep watching this big girl come, and the farther she goes and the closer she gets to me, I'm like, this doesn't seem like a good idea. So right as she's about to hit me, my body backs out and I jump in the air. But I'm still arms to the chest, and I'm still like athletic based because I was ready for my charge.
Athletic base.
So now I'm not even like trying to defend her or anything. My hands are literally crossed. She just full speed runs through my body, and I like fling myself to the ground like feet away. I'm like laying on the ground like half deceased, and like they like call the foul, and I'm like, I wonder if I got the charge. And so anyways, they called an offensive foul. They made it very clear that it was in fact not a charge. It was an offensive foul because there's a difference. I didn't do anything right as a defender. She just rucked through me, like literally ran as fast as she could through me. And I was just so, in the video, I'm literally in the air, arms crossed like a mummy, and she just knocks me over. But I'm like running back on the sideline like, I got a charge, like, yeah. And my coach is like, that does not count as a charge. So still to this day, he has like a charge count in his head, because like our team, like, really there was only like 1 or 2 girls who ever took a charge. So the rest of us were like 5 or lower. So he knew all of us. And every time he'd be like, did you get a charge? And I'd be like, remember, junior year, I got a charge. He'd be like, we're counting that. And I'd be like, offensive foul. I sat there. That is a charge.
Okay, you know what it's like when I'm picturing? You know, like Wii bowling when the people
Yes.
jump up and do
No,
this?
it was literally that. Like, I'm telling you guys, I mean, I don't jump that high, but I was like a few inches off the ground, mummy style. She just knocked me over. And I had the worst bruise on my butt for like weeks. Like, my tailbone hurt so bad because I literally just landed, like, I just got pummeled, and like everything hurt. My elbow had like a purple and like black mark on it for literally a month because I went for a charge. So that's my excuse for why I didn't take one this year. I'm scared.
Yeah, no, that would scar me for sure. I did that too, but I got a flop call this year for something like that because the girl did a Euro step. I tried to take a charge on a Euro step, and I just got a flop real quick. Okay, so I'm like a hypochondriac. Like, I always convince myself that I have like my trainers, I definitely am texting them a lot. I'm like, I think something's wrong. Like, but this is the thing. Like, I'm not like gonna complain and like sit out. Like, I don't want to sit out, but I definitely am gonna say I think I have so many different illnesses. I don't know. I
have a list of ailments on my phone.
No, yeah. Like, if I have a stuffy nose, I'm like, I'm dying. I have mono. I'm dead. I'm
mono. I'm dead.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not rational. So this one time, I was like in the shower and I was like shaving my armpits and I like felt like a bump. And I was like, a bump. So I'm Googling, I'm like, bump in armpit. And it's like lymph node. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it's in my lymph node. I'm like, what does bump in lymph? I'm like, tumor. Oh my God, I have cancer.
I'm dying.
I was like, I'm dying. I have a tumor in my armpit where my lymph node is. I'm dead. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm stressed as well. I write letters. I start writing letters to my family. Like, I love you. Please. Like,
if this happens again, write me a letter.
You were next.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously. Yours is going to be a text. Hey.
I think it's over.
I was going to Irish goodbye you.
It's been really great knowing you.
But I literally was writing letters to my family and I was like stressed. And the next day I come in, I'm like, you could like, you know, with puffy eyes, it's like you can tell someone's been crying. My trainer's like, oh my God, like what's wrong? And I'm like,
allergies.
I'm like, I think I have cancer. And he was like, what? And I was like, wait, no, it was, oh my God, this was my trainer from sophomore year. Yeah. So she was literally just looking at me like, what? And I was like, I have a bump. And I'm showing her, she's like, what? Like, what? Okay, well, it's really small. I was like, yeah, but it could be, like, look where it is. It's in my arm. She's like, that doesn't really mean anything. I'm like, I need to see the doctor. Like, I'm dying. And she was like, okay. She's like, well, the doctor's in a couple minutes. You'll see him. So I go into the doctor's office. I'm like, okay, like, I have this bump in my armpit. And the doctor's like, okay. And I, like, lift my arm up. And I'm like, waiting for him tell me that like I need to go like get a biopsy, and he's literally like, that looks like an ingrown hair. And I was like, no, it feels like a ball. He's like, so sometimes they can turn into like small cysts. And I was like, well, is it benign? He's like, it's not a tumor.
Benign.
He's like, it's not a tumor. It's literally just an ingrown hair that turned into a bump. And I was like, so what do I do? Am I gonna have to get it like surgically removed?
Yeah.
He was like, no, it'll go away on its own if you just stop touching it. And I was like, oh.
Trainers for real need a raise because
no, for real.
I never had anything like that, but I would just like every day be like, okay, well, is this infected? Or like, it hurts a little bit. Is it gonna get worse? And my trainer would be like, girl, like, let's just relax here. But the only thing that ever happened with the doctor with me was I had a foot issue actually kind of my whole career, I guess, but it started sophomore year. I had like kind of a turf toe situation, but like, I guess
is that like athlete's foot?
Girl, isn't that fungus?
It's turf toe. That sounds like fungus.
No, let me set the record straight. It's more like a fractured toe bone. It's more like the ball of your foot.
Turf toe sounds like fungus.
Yeah, but it's because football players get it a lot, so they called it turf toe because like football players will break the ball of their foot a lot from like planting and cutting and stuff.
Okay.
Anyways, it's kind of an overused thing. Whatever. I like to say I almost fractured my toe. Okay. So,
I like to say that instead of
turf toe. But I said turf toe to say like the actual thing, and now when people think I fungus, I don't. I clean my feet. Like I get pedicures. I'm clean. I actually have pretty good feet. Well, I thought. So, I go to the doctor, and I'm like, not applying, but they're like looking at my feet to see like what inserts I need and like what treatment I'm gonna need, whatever. So I'd already seen one doctor before and he hadn't really like mentioned it, but now I'm on my second. I ended up seeing like 5 different people between like all these specialists and stuff. So she's a really nice lady. She's like, hey, can you like take your shoes off for me? So I'm like, yeah, of course, like you're gonna lick my foot anyways. I am like 2 inches into sliding my shoe off, and she views my foot for the first time, and I have socks on. And she goes, oh my God! And I was like, what? What's wrong? I just took my shoe off. She was like, your feet are crazy. And I was like, why? And she goes, how many times have you broken your foot? And I go, none. Unless I played through it. And I was like, I've never had foot pain before. And she was like, you have the highest arches I've ever seen on a woman in my life. And I was like, thanks, I guess. Anyways, so the whole reason that I had the toe problem is because apparently I have like insanely high arches, and especially for a woman, my arches are like insane. And so the whole time I was running, I was just running on the ball of my foot. So I got inserts. There's literally like tennis balls in my inserts. It's crazy. Like it's literally so high. Anyways, but that experience happened. I thought for sure no one else would ever comment on my feet. But now I got sent to the people who make my inserts, and they're looking at like how deep the insert needs to be, and they were like, is this right? They're like, take your shoe off. And I took my shoe off, and they were like, oh my God, it is right. Your arches are insane. So then I went back to my trainer, and I'm like, girl, why didn't you warn me that I had crazy looking feet before I went into these doctor's office? And they all exclaim over the sight of my foot after like 2 seconds, because I thought I had nice feet. But yeah, so
they help with you real
maybe
quick.
in another episode I'll take my shoe off.
If this podcast doesn't take off, we're selling feet pics.
That'll be our next round, because at this point this clearly won't be working if this episode doesn't take off. Like if this one doesn't go viral, I think we should stop, because
I think we need
this
to
is
start
the only thing we have to give. Like we don't have
This is
much
all we
else.
have to offer.
Yeah, like our advice is kind of running up.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I would cry if someone's the only foot story that cause like, okay, I have a weird thing about feet. I really don't like feet. I don't like seeing other people's feet. Like my teammates, like they know like they don't like take their socks. Like they would never
Like they wear their socks.
Yeah, they
around
wear
it.
their socks around me. Like if someone's coming to my house, you're wearing socks. Like I don't like feet. And so the training room for me is a nightmare. Like it is a nightmare. When I see everyone's toes touch it really scares me. So I don't really like to have my feet out. Like when people take my ankles, I literally have the sock covering my toes. Like I'm that
There's
person.
always one of those.
I know, it's me. It's so me. But like the only time I had my trainer like really had to look at my toes like for real. And this like I've gotten better. Like this past year my trainer like he used to do this like unlocking thanks. Like, he had to see my toes and, like, touch them. And I, like, grew a comfort to it. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm not worried about my toes anymore.
Yeah, so sure.
I know. It only took me 21 years.
You grew up.
I grew up. But, like, before, I literally was, like, I could feel when I stepped, my toenail, like, break off in my shoe. And after the game, I took my shoe off, and my sock was all bloody, and I was like, oh, my God. And I literally had to go, and, like, my trainer, like, I was like, something's wrong with my toe. And she's like, take your sock off. And I'm like, I don't know if I can. She was like, you need to take your sock off. How am I supposed to
sedate you?
I literally was like, okay, like, please, like, I'm scared. I'm
Don't
scared.
take a photo.
And she was like, and mind you, like, I don't even have, like, grimy feet. Like, this is not, like, I shouldn't be so stressed.
No, Ella has foot fungus.
I do not. Stop it right now. I do not. I have normal feet, I think. But she, like, took the sock off. And she literally had to, like, yank my toenail off because it was hanging off on a thread.
That's what I'm saying. Trainers need a raise.
They need a raise because, like, that is disgusting. Like, if I had to take someone's toenail off, I would literally be throwing up. Like,
No, literally.
There's no way.
And, like, just in general, we actually should do a video on everything trainers do because they really don't get the credit they deserve. But, like, these are just the weird injuries we've had. You're dealing with 15 girls. Someone's going to have something that has, like, pus, or like someone's gonna have a toenail infected, or
People
someone's gonna need to like
foot fungus.
yeah, like there are so many
thing.
gross things. So even if you won't have something funny happen to you, the locker room is just so funny because someone will walk in and like a teammate will walk in thinking they have cancer, or like a teammate walks in with like something crazy happening, and so like that's where all the funny stuff happens. And some of the stories that are like so funny in college we probably can't even say because they like have other people involved in them. Because I feel like not that many embarrassing things really happen to me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I have any others. I don't know. But, like, basically, this is the moral of all of our training sessions. And I think it's funny because we'll work out in a group, and, like, halfway through, we'll start talking to each other, and we're, like, crying, laughing, and, like, sometimes other people react, but also sometimes it's just us. Like, sometimes no one else can even hear us, because also, like, the way that we both start laugh talking, we can understand it, but other people are just hearing gibberish and seeing us crying. And, like, I think people are entertained, but I guess we'll find out.
I don't know if they're entertained.
Or if they're
scared.
annoyed.
They're like, shut the freak up.
Or they're like, can we just like play basketball like we came here for? But like we said, sometimes summer workouts are for socializing too. Like, you're gonna work out, but you need to get in your fun too. So I'm like, girl, you can take a 5-minute break to hear my funny stories. It's fine. You'll survive. It'll be good for your mental health.
Ooh, yeah. So those I feel like those are my best hits.
Yeah, I think so.
that like overall the rest of mine like are just not like.
And I guess we'll have to find out if we have new best hits, because I want to say that I want more best hits when I get to Georgetown, but I'm hoping there are other people's stories, because I'm really not trying to go and embarrass myself day one. Like, I'm already trying to.
I forgot the most embarrassing story of them all.
Go off, girl.
Oh my god, my freshman year. Oh, this is bad. So I didn't realize like I was allergic to like everything until like I got literally like, now I don't want to say diagnosed, but I got like diagnosed with asthma and like being allergic to like trees, grass, pollen, etc. when I was like 20 years old. So I didn't know. So I get to college and like my eyes are really like itchy, and I have allergies because I also worked landscaping in the summer, so I just was around grass all the time. And I was like, literally, I weed whacked every day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And then she showed up to training.
And I showed up to training.
It was like mud all over.
You gotta do what you gotta do, okay?
No, I like the grind. I
respect the grind. You gotta respect the grind. And then, but anyways, and I like was using these eye drops for my allergies, like for like the grass and all that stuff. So I was using these eye drops. Didn't know that I was allergic to something in the eye drops. So my eye was so bright red, and there was literally like a hive, like it was like I had an allergic reaction to the eye drops. So my eye was bright red, and I had a bump, and I couldn't put my contacts in. So this is like day one freshman year. I get to campus. I'm ready to go. We have first team workout the next day. I can't put in my contacts. I cannot get my contact in. I'm like, oh my god, my eye's so inflamed, it's hurting. So I called the eye doctor, and I was like, what do I do? They're like, well, you're gonna have to wear your glasses. So for my first ever college practice, like college workout, everything, first time the coaches are seeing me, I'm wearing glasses, and I went and
bought glasses or goggles?
No, glasses, and I had to go buy the strap that old people wear that goes from that keeps the glasses on your head. So I mind you, the prescription wasn't even updated because they were so old, so I could barely see anyway. So there were glasses that I couldn't see out of, and I had the strap on them in the back of my head hanging off.
Like,
and
why is this nerd shooting airballs right now?
I did not make a basket, I think, the whole day. I was like, they're gonna cut me, they're gonna send me home. And I had to wear glasses for like 3 days until like my eye like finally went down and I got new eye drops.
That's actually crazy.
So
But yeah, that's what like, that's funny, but I also am not sure if I want that to happen my first day this week. But we'll see. So yeah, I guess we'll have to check back in maybe like beginning of season 2 of this podcast and update our best stories from next year.
Yeah. So anyways, thanks for watching. Maybe you
Listening.
laughed once
You
or twice.
definitely turned it off and no one's at this part of the podcast.
If you made it this far,
it's probably
it's
Ella and
probably
Siobhan
Ella and
rewatching it at 1 a.m.
Literally. So yeah. Thanks.
See you next
Bye.
time.